Ms. Hulsinger, you petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your 2-year-old son, Gabriel. You say Mr. Maye has abandoned his responsibilities and he will get the truth today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Maye, you claim you were pressured into signing the birth certificate and now you are stuck with a woman who foolishly believes you are her child's father. Is
Yes,
that
Your
correct?
Honor.
So you're not doing anything for this child right
Your
now?
Honor. I'm out of the child's life right now.
The child's 2 years old?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you agree? Nothing, Ms. Hulsinger?
He hasn't done anything for my son at all. He missed his first steps, him calling his first words, which was dad. He's just not there, you know, and it's hurting me because it's hurting my son. And it's sad.
I have my doubts though, Your Honor.
How did you meet?
I met him off the chat line. I was lonely, so I decided to call and try to basically find something to do.
Yeah, she found something to do and we end up messing around too fast. You know what I mean? Too fast and...
Right, that's what I don't understand about these chat lines, Ron. It's supposed to be chatting.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did it get?
The chatting and things start happening.
So then you met her? Obviously.
Yes, ma'am.
Take me to the night in question where all the chatting turned into paternity court material.
Your Honor, it was a late night. She was one of the young ladies who was on at the other end of the line and left me a message. I left her a message and we ended up hooking up.
Do you remember that first night, Ms. Hulsinger?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you use protection?
No, Your Honor.
So what happened when you got to the point where you realized you were pregnant?
I called him and told him that it was a possibility of me having his child.
That wasn't how it went.
Yes, it is.
No. Months and months passed by, and then she just told me that she was pregnant.
Were you all still in a sexual relationship all
Yes,
the
Your
time?
Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
How many months is that?
I think about 4 months.
I need details.
Yes, ma'am. She called me one day. She told me she was pregnant.
And what did you say?
For the most part, I was cool with it. You know, I'm a man of my word. I take care of all my kids, you know what I'm saying? So when she told me she was pregnant, I was gonna be there for her.
And were you happy? Were you saying, oh, I'm gonna have another child?
I was excited.
You're lying.
Why is he lying, Ms. Hulsinger? What was his response? Is he lying about that too?
He was like, are you serious? Are you sure it's mine?
Did you have doubts in the beginning, Mr. Maye?
No, I did not in the beginning.
Yes, you did.
Not in the beginning. She told me her word. I took her word for what it was. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't.
That's not true.
That's not true.
At what point did you say to yourself, I may not be the only possible father here?
that came at a time when I was over her house. One time we was upstairs in her room and hearing beep, 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 beep outside, and, you know, it didn't leave. So she was asking me, was I ready to leave? So got to go downstairs, and I'm about to go out the back door. She told me to go out the front door. So I say, no, let me go on out the back door. Open up the back door, there's a gentleman right there.
Really?
And he asked me, was I there for Mrs. Hulsinger? I told him I wasn't there for Mrs. Hulsinger. I was there for one of her family members, and I proceeded to walk on out the door while she hid behind the refrigerator.
Oh, you saw her hiding?
Yeah.
Were you hiding behind the refrigerator, Miss Hulsinger?
Yes, ma'am, I was, because... Yes, ma'am, I was, because...
In your own house?
Yes, ma'am, because this man would
What
not
was
leave
she
me
hiding
alone.
for?
And I did
Why
not
was
want to
she
deal with
hiding?
him. And he would just pop up all the time, and I just didn't want to... I didn't want to deal with that.
Who is this guy?
And at the time, she's pregnant.
It's a guy that I used to mess with, and I had cut it off with him totally. So that basically what put a wedge between me and him.
That wasn't the only thing, though, Your Honor.
Oh, what else?
I mean, I'm not too heavy of a sleeper, so at the time, you know, I'm spending the night with her. I'm seeing messages pop up on the phone. That led me to doubt, too. Not only the backdoor situation, but just text messages, you know what I mean? Things I would hear on the streets and things of that nature.
So you were also hearing rumors. I need you
Yes.
to be specific.
A mutual friend had told me that he had been involved with Miss Hulsinger. You know what I mean? And
who was that? I wasn't even in a relationship, so why would I have to hide somebody's
why was she hiding
name and a
herself,
number?
Your Honor? Why was she hiding herself from when the dude knocked on the back door? She wasn't.
Because he was my stalker.
Okay, So bottom line is you were hearing rumors. You saw messages on her phone.
Guys knocking at the back door, Your Honor.
Guys knocking at the back door. This is all while she's pregnant and you all are still seeing each other.
Yes.
And so you thinking to yourself, you might not be the only father here.
I kind of scratched my head and thought that.
So when you actually went into labor.
Yes, ma'am, he wasn't there for me. My family member actually had to go and get him so he could come up there and see my son.
Oh, so they went to go get him.
And I
Yes,
had
ma'am.
my doubts. That's why I wasn't willing to just go catch the bus or get a ride or anything. So.
But what I don't understand, Mr. May, is if you are sleeping with her the entire pregnancy and you know that there is a potential that the child could be yours, even if your spidey sense has been activated and you've seen why wouldn't you show up for the birth?
I had my doubts, Your Honor. I really had my doubts.
But the doubts don't prevent you from making it to the bed, but they prevent you from making it to the birth. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. In your court papers, I see here, it says you signed the birth certificate too.
Yes,
How
Your
did
Honor.
that happen?
Pressure.
So
I'm getting, he has your nose, he has your head. What you gonna do now? This, that. And I'm just like, let me just be a man. Let me sign the birth certificate. If it's mine, I'm gonna deal with it.
Because at
Do
that
the right
point,
thing
her
at that
family has come and picked you up.
Yes.
And you didn't call for this
No, I
ride.
didn't call for nothing.
Did you know when you signed that birth certificate? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
That you would be now
Yes, Your
the
Honor.
legal father of this child?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did it anyway?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Hulsinger, this photo was submitted to the court. It is Mr. May with a little beautiful baby, Gabriel. I don't see a lot of doubt in this photo.
Cause it ain't. Cause he know that baby is his, Your Honor. And it's really hurting me that he's not stepping up to be a man. My son needs
Your
his
Honor.
father.
Your
And it
Honor.
hurts me. And, and I know I'm part of the blame because I know I wasn't in a relationship with him and that, I was doing my own thing too, as well as him. Because he was out there doing what he wanted to do too.
With me doing what I'm doing has nothing to do with her affecting her having.
Well, that part I'll give you. You really can't go tit for tat with a man
And that's
in
what
that
it-
way
and-
because, let me talk.
sorry.
I'm saying something that benefits you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ultimately, they can make this claim, and it is true, that they can sleep around all over town, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But when you do and you get pregnant, you don't know who your child's father is. There's a difference. There's a different burden women carry. That's just ours. You know what I mean?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you said you were out there doing you, and you admitted it. So why are you so sure he is the biological father?
He signed the birth certificate.
Well, that doesn't
and I
make
know
him the
I slept
biological
with him
father.
the whole pregnancy, and I know I didn't sleep with nobody else.
Your Honor.
Right after, basically, even when I first began to sleep with him, I never slept with anybody else.
I need some proof. I need to understand how you came to this
Your Honor.
conclusion.
Because I have the...
You do.
Yes,
Ron,
the
can you
date.
hand me that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Her evidence.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. May.
I received a phone call. I don't remember the guy's name. He said he was the father. And
You got a phone call from another guy that said he was the father?
Another man that she told him that they were going to have a happy family together and move
That's
away.
a lie.
And
That's a lie.
Really? Who is this person?
I told you he was a stalker, and he just pops up anytime I was moving.
Your
at
Honor.
the
Oh,
time.
that's the same guy from
Yes,
the
ma'am.
refrigerator
Yes,
scene?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No.
And he stole my phone.
Hold on. So you're saying it's a different guy
Different
from
guy,
the
Your Honor.
refrigerator incident?
Totally
No.
different guy.
No,
Total
it's the
different
same guy. It's the same guy.
If he stole your phone, how did he know to call Mr. May?
Because I told him that, you know what I'm saying, look, I'm pregnant. I don't need this in my life. And I guess he stole the phone and called him and made up a whole bunch of lies because he knew that I was not trying to mess with him.
But he knew he could possibly be the father too. He knew that.
Because he told you that?
Yes.
Did you tell someone else they could possibly be the father, Miss Hulsinger?
No, I didn't. But I also told him, you know what I'm saying, I wasn't sure.
You're wavering. No, that's not what you just said. That's not what you testified to earlier. The truth is that there was an issue with regard to who the biological father was of this child?
Yes, Your Honor. And I
Okay,
told
let me
you
look
from
at
the
this
beginning.
evidence. You've presented me with a calendar, and it gives me the day you were intimate with Mr. May.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that would be January 26th.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then you believe you conceived on January 28th.
I believe I conceived on the 28th.
Okay, so that's Mr. May. Were you intimate with anyone else around these dates?
Maybe a week between.
Oh, which week?
I would say the week of the 13th.
So the week of the 13th, you were intimate with refrigerator guy?
Yes, Your Honor.
So this calendar was missing some significant information, because if you were intimate with the refrigerator guy the whole week of the 13th, that is very close to the window of conception that you lined up for Mr. May.
Yeah.
So how do we know this other guy isn't the child's biological father?
Your Honor, I don't think she really knows, because there was a time where she had gave me some money to keep Gabriel, and then the
Gave
end of
you
the
money to keep him.
Hold on, let me. I'm gonna break it down.
Only to help?
Hold on, I'm gonna break it down. At the end of the week, I finally get a hold of Miss Hulsinger, and she tells me I always had my doubts about him being a father. That's why I gave you the $100 so you could just be the babysitter. I'm on my way to pick him up right now.
I never even told you that.
So I'll tell her, no, you ain't gotta
I
pick
never
him
even
up. I'm gonna
told
go
you
ahead
that.
and drop him off. So lo and behold, I'm just want to be sure. So I call her a few times after, I dropped him off. Family member of hers, why you keep calling her? Do we have to call the police on you for stalking her? He ain't your son. We told you he wasn't your son. So at that point, I left it alone. It was over with.
So your family member did tell him that he was not the child's
Because
father?
no, they did not say that.
They
But
told me that I
they
wasn't
said
the
for
father.
him to just leave me alone because he was
Why would
very
they say that?
belligerent.
But you had dropped the baby off over there. How is he gonna leave you alone and he has the baby?
I dropped the baby off, and it was over to me.
So when's the last time you saw Gabriel?
Since I actually, held him, and
Yes.
it's been a long time. Then
So Ms. Hulsinger, has this other guy seen Gabriel?
Yeah, because he barged in one day and.
Why does he?
'Cause he's a
Don't you
stalker.
lock your door? Why is he always at your door and barging in?
I have two other small children, and they let him in. And I tried to stay away from him, but he would not leave me alone.
When he thinks about my dad, he thinks about Mr. May.
Yes, Your Honor.
You know he calls you dad?
A few times she didn't call me and, told me that. But here's my thing. Did he call the other guy dad?
No, not at all.
Because, see, it was a test before it was mine. She had another guy tested.
You had another man tested?
Yes, Your Honor.
So wait a minute now. You just said to me earlier, Ms. Hulsinger, now you need to just tell the truth. From the beginning, you knew there was more than one possible father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You had this gentleman tested.
Yes, Your Honor.
What type of test? A home test?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, do you have the results here with you?
No, I don't.
Did you
It only
ever
stays
see
on
these
there.
results, Mr. May?
Mom said she's seen them, but I didn't get a chance to see. And she said it kind of looked kind of shaky a little bit. So she didn't really believe Miss Hulsinger, and she told me that I should, get a DNA test for the little boy, because he doesn't deserve to not know who his father is. It's not his fault.
All right. Well, one thing's for sure. This court has ordered, and you have submitted to a legitimate test, and I have the results for you. Ron, I'm ready.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Hulsinger versus May, when it comes to 2-year-old Gabriel May, it has been determined by this court, Mr. May, you are the father. Good news.
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
He has a great father.
Listen.
I can't tell.
Listen, it's amazing when I think about you all saying you just were feeling lonely and didn't know what to do with yourself, so you just called a chat line. And to go from a chat line, literally, to standing before me in this courtroom, it says a lot. Lack of responsibility, no safe sex, lack of accountability, because you signed that birth certificate. If you're man enough to do that, be man enough to be there till you get the test. Because now Gabriel's 2.
I have my doubts, Your Honor.
I get that. The problem is you stepped up, then stepped back. And that is difficult for a child. And Ms. Hulsinger, I'm telling you, you weaved a wicked web. I mean, parts of your story were going left, the other parts were going right. You were not telling the truth the whole time. And that's why he had doubt. You've got to honor the part you had to play as well. Ms. Brugger, you are here to prove to the defendant that your son, Parrish Brooks Jr., was fathered by the defendant's grandson, who was tragically killed 2 months ago in an auto accident. Now, Ms. Warner, you are here with your granddaughter, and you don't believe Parrish Jr. is your great-grandson.
No, Your Honor.
You say the plaintiff has dragged you to court today because she wants in on your family's land and oil trust.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you claim your granddaughter knows for a fact your grandson was sterile.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you believe Ms. Brugger's motives actually are?
Money, gold digger. Right after Parrish got killed, she went for Social Security. And Parrish, I know Parrish had told her about the land we had in Texas. You know, she was just trying to cash in on him. And she wanted a father for her girls.
Ms. Brugger, you say he is in fact your child's father.
Yes, he's my son's father. We live together, everything, we were in a relationship. He asked me to marry him. That is my son's father. He never denied my son, so I don't see why they are. And the fact that they're saying he was sterile, he was never told by a doctor. That was just him because he never had a child.
Me and Parrish clearly had a conversation before he passed that he wasn't sure.
And so when you say he wasn't sure, what did he say?
Because he was just like, Chaz, I don't even think I can have kids. All he wanted his whole life was a baby. And then he gets with Rochelle, and then she comes pregnant like a month or 2 later. He didn't even think that he could have kids.
Excuse me, I have to say something. They wasn't together when Parrish was deceased. He had another girlfriend. They was not together.
We weren't together when
I had
he
to tell you.
died, no.
No, you guys
But-
wasn't together.
That's what
I
she
just said
said,
that.
ma'am.
Okay.
We lived together. We were a family. He told everyone my girls were his stepdaughters. He called them his stepdaughters, everything. He was there through my whole pregnancy, all the doctor's appointments, everything.
And when you had the baby, was he at the hospital?
No, he couldn't be there, but as soon as he got out, he was adamant about having the hospital hold on to the birth certificate before they turned it in so that he could sign it.
So
As
do
soon
you
as he
have
came
proof
home.
of that?
Yes.
Ms. Brugger, explain to me. This is actually a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity that
Yes, ma'am.
Parrish Sr. signed.
Yes, Your Honor.
He acknowledged paternity.
Yes.
I am the legal father. You have this in writing. This is his signature.
Yes, Your Honor.
While you were in this relationship, he's
Excuse
going
me,
to
Your Honor.
doctor's appointments with you, and he's excited about the baby and calling your girls his stepchildren. Is he expressing any of this excitement, Ms. Warner, Ms. Beasley, to you that I'm having a child, I believe it's mine?
Yes,
Yes.
Your Honor. Our kid.
But you just don't believe it is.
Yes, Your Honor.
You had a shower?
I had a baby shower, yes.
Did you attend, Ms. Warner, Ms. Beasley?
No,
were you
I
a
didn't,
part
I
of
didn't
that?
do anything.
I was, Your Honor.
You did?
I did go because of Parrish. Parrish was alive then. That was his baby. But to me, that's not his job. He loved the baby, Your Honor, but the baby doesn't even look like him. He doesn't act like him. His forehead's not like, there's nothing about him to tell me that that is my grandson. The baby,
My son looks,
no, he doesn't.
around
Where?
his eyes, he looks just like him.
No.
He looks like his
that's-
grandpa.
No, that's not his grandpa. His grandpa ain't never did nothing for Parrish. I don't know what, no. Well,
That's what y'all say.
She
Since my
raised
son
him.
has been born,
I raised Parrish.
since my son has been born, the whole time I was with Parrish in a relationship, he's been the one that's been around. I invited them to my son's first birthday party. They didn't show up.
That's not my son. That's why I didn't show
And
up.
if y'all felt this way about my son, why did y'all never
Because I
say
love
nothing
Parrish
when
so
he was
much.
born?
I loved Parrish.
Or when his father was alive?
I love
It was
Parrish,
never
and I
a
wasn't.
question.
Parrish is no longer here. He's no longer here now.
But if y'all
So I
felt
can
that this was
defend
not
that.
his
I can
son,
defend that
why
now.
wouldn't you say something when he was alive or when my son was born?
Because I wasn't going to hurt Parrish. Parrish wanted a baby so
they've
bad.
never been around
So
my
wait,
son.
what I'm trying to understand from the situation, Ms. Warner, is all this time, even when the baby was there, did you have doubts about
Yes,
the
Your
paternity
Honor,
as
but I
you were
wasn't
there?
going to say anything with Parrish.
You just
I wasn't
didn't
gonna
want
say
to
anything.
upset Parrish.
No, I did
Sr.
not want to come between Parrish and that baby. But now Parrish is no longer. I can say my piece now.
And the real truth is, you were his grandmother, but you raised him. He was really like a son to you.
Your Honor, his mother died in '85. I'm the only person was there for Parrish. That's why I just couldn't hurt him because of this baby. He didn't have a family. His dad over there didn't ever come
Never?
by. Yeah, you.
Come on now with never.
Well,
Come on now.
It seemed like never.
Come on now.
It seemed like
You know
never.
what?
Some
As
order,
quiet
let's
as
get
it's
some
kept,
order.
me and
You
him had
never
a
did
better
do nothing.
relationship than y'all did.
Because he
No,
didn't
you
live with
didn't.
you.
All right, let's
What did
get some order. Let's get some order. In your court papers, Ms. Brugger, you say that his family didn't even tell you when he passed away. Is that true?
Yes. I got a phone call from one of my friends that seen it on Facebook. They had just found out that morning too. But you would think me
What was
having
I'm
his own
grieving?
child
That was my
they would-
son. I didn't have time
One
to
of my
call
friends
nobody.
seen it on
Rochelle,
Facebook
you have
and
to
called me.
understand
They
where
didn't
she's
even call
coming
his
from.
father and let his own father know.
They
I'm the one
found
that
it out.
called him.
Excuse me, Your Honor. They found it out on Facebook.
Someone else called the coroner's office. They released all of his information. So when I'm looking at Facebook at like 5 o'clock in the morning going to work, I see it. I call my grandmother. Grandma, have you heard anything about Parrish? I had just talked to Parrish the Friday that he died at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
They weren't in a relationship at the time.
And
they
so-
were together.
I still have his son.
Well, but you guys
We
still
don't have
I
to
was
be together
grieving at the time.
for me
I
to
was-
know I'm still stuck having to raise our son by myself.
Well,
His father's
ask him.
not here.
I
So if you really
raised
cared about your
Parrish.
grandson,
I've
and
raised-
you know that he said this was his son and he loved him very much.
And that's why she's here
Wouldn't
today,
you want
to
his
figure
son
it
to
out.
know that he
That's
no
why I'm
longer
here
has a
today.
father?
That's why I'm here.
Parrish felt that she used to have some dude come over to the house whose hair she was always doing.
Your Honor, I
never
have
got
a degree
paid
in
for it. Parrish
cosmetology.
didn't like that because he
Right.
would call my grandmother and clearly stated to her.
He's
He's told me plenty of times that Rochelle was broken, that she was tainted, and that's why he had to get out of the situation.
So when you would talk to Parrish, Ms. Warner, he was saying he needed to get out of the situation.
He was saying
with Ms.
she's
Brugger?
broken, Grandma. I cannot fix her. He says she's crazy, Grandma. This guy keeps coming over there and doing her hair. She's not even getting paid for doing his hair.
So
What
a
is he
man
doing
would
over
just
there?
come over to the house and get his hair done.
Right, and she wouldn't even accept any money. This is what he told me out of his mouth, Your Honor. This is just
So
some of the things.
he was intimating that he maybe thought she was cheating with this guy.
Yeah, he'd come home and the guy was there. And
Who is this guy?
I don't
Ms. Brugger?
know.
You
I
just
don't
had a
know.
guy over to the house doing
Your
his
Honor,
hair?
first of all, I have a degree in cosmetology, so I do hair. When me and Parrish first got together, there's a guy I've known for years. He's my brother's friend. I've been doing his hair for years. It happened one time I was doing his hair. Parrish came home. He got mad about it. I stopped doing his hair. He never came back over again to get his hair done.
And then, Your Honor, there was also times when Parrish would call my grandmother that Rochelle wasn't picking him up from work. He was late to picking her up, and she couldn't explain to him on why all that was happening. There was times when she kicked Parrish out. He came to my grandmother's house. She had to give him money to stay at a hotel room.
Your Honor, the only time he was staying at a hotel was after he was gone out of my house. The girlfriend he had after me, they lived in a hotel. When he was living with me, we lived together. We had a house.
Your
It was
Honor, but
my
you
house.
put him out.
I
Yeah,
put
he
him
did
out
leave you.
because he
From
was not
my
making
concern,
right
he left you.
choices. So I had to make a choice to protect my children and put them first. And if you are grown, you need to be a man and do what you need to do. And he wasn't doing that. So I had to make the choice. I put him out. We still were talking, but he knew in order for him to come back home.
You wouldn't even let him bring him over to my house, Michelle, so we could.
And why?
I don't know why.
You
but
watched
we're
my
family.
son one time. We trusted you with my son when he was like 2 to 3 months.
But he's growing-
She did not feed my son all night. We trusted you with my son when he was like 2 to 3 months.
But he's growing.
She did not feed my son all night.
No,
it's
no,
not
that
that you
didn't.
didn't feed
It didn't go like that. Don't
She
say
brought
that.
him home
They didn't.
in a car seat without him being strapped in.
You are, no.
The seatbelt was over the car seat and the car seat was turned backwards.
Your
And
Honor,
Parrish
that is
was
a
even
lie. I'm
mad, and
sorry.
he said
I have
in,
to tell you that.
he would never
explain
let her
my side.
keep our son.
No,
until
what
he was
happened
old enough
was
That wasn't.
to
I'll
talk
tell
and
you
pick
what
up the
happened.
phone on his own.
What happened now?
my grandmother was under the impression that baby Parrish was on breast milk.
I'm a great grandmother. I'm not, so I didn't know this up-to-date stuff. And they brought him a bottle. They told me to feed him. And I left. He wouldn't take the bottle. I left it out. I tried to call them all night long. I was paging them. Nobody would answer the phone.
She didn't
Finally,
call
I
my
put the
phone.
baby
She
in
called
the car, and I took him over to the house. They didn't want to come to the door. I was panicking because I wasn't used to keeping little babies. And that was it. I
And
didn't know
when you
had
were
to
trying
feed
to
them.
give him the milk, he didn't want to take it.
Right. And then
so you
he
thought
started
it was
crying.
because he wanted
Yes,
his
Your Honor.
mother.
Yes,
so
Your Honor.
okay.
Okay, I have a question though, Rochelle. If it comes back and that is his, is my
It is
grandma
his.
even gonna be able to see the
See,
baby?
you cannot
You
take
act
him.
so funny. You
Right.
act so
She
funny
wanted-
with
I'm
him.
so funny, but
you
why
act
weren't
so
y'all at the
funny
ba-
with
why
him.
weren't y'all at the baby
I wasn't
shower?
there because my 1-year-old
And the
was
birthday,
sick.
I
That's
invited
why.
you
and
to
I
his
talked
birthday,
to you. And what did I
you
tell
didn't
you?
show up.
And what
so
did I
how
tell you?
are you guys
So I'm
gonna
gonna
say
bring another
that I
baby.
don't invite you guys?
I'm done.
Did
I
you
did
guys
come.
ever come to my
I
house
come.
to see him?
I
You
did.
came a couple
Yes,
times.
I
No,
you
I
never
didn't.
did.
I have my own kid. Let's just
And
be real
Parrish,
about it.
but how
I
many
have my
times
own. So no, I didn't come.
I have mine.
Okay.
I have my own
I'm
kids.
asking
I
for my
still
grandma.
packed up my kids
My
and
grandma
went
cares
to her
about
house.
him. Parrish cared about him. I'm asking for him.
She has came to my house.
Yes.
To see my son. Like maybe 3 times, 4. Every time they have seen my son, me and Parrish packed all the kids up and we had to go to their house. After my son was born, my family was at the house all the time coming to see the baby to the point where we're like, oh my God, go home so we get some rest. He was mad because he felt they were not embracing the fact that he finally did have a kid.
And I
They
can
weren't
see that
coming
that
over to
hurts
see the
you
baby.
because you remember that it hurt him.
He was like, I thought I couldn't have kids for all these years. Now I have this son, and they're not embracing it. However they feel about me, feel how you feel about me. But them trying to keep the ashes from my son, if my son is entitled to
I don't even have the
money,
ashes.
anything that he should be entitled to,
Your Honor, that's why
they're
we're
not,
here.
when they
That's
keep
why
the
we're
stuff,
here.
it's not hurting me.
Ms. Brugger, they were clear. They think you are just interested in the money.
The money doesn't come to me. The money will go in an account in a trust fund for my son. It doesn't come to me.
Okay. I'd like to hear from your witness at this time. Sir, would you please stand up at the podium?
Yes, ma'am.
State your name for the court.
My name is Claiborne Harvey Jr.,
And Mr. Harvey, you are,
Parrish's father and Parrish Jr.'s grandfather.
and what would you like to add to this situation?
All I want to say, first of all, is we're not here to assassinate each other's character. And I will admit that I was not there as much as I could have been for Parrish.
Okay, well,
You know?
right.
But they didn't say nothing about the part where I tried to get custody of my son Parrish when he was a baby, when his mama was out in the streets doing things that she wasn't supposed to be doing.
Okay, don't even go there.
I'm
right,
not
do
going
that
there. I'm
there.
just saying. I
Please
tried
don't
to get
go.
custody.
He doesn't have him.
I
I don't
tried
have
to
my
get
daughter,
custody.
and now I don't
I
have
tried
my
to
son.
get custody.
Don't try to go. Don't go there.
You know I loved her daughter, so I don't even go there with
Don't
that
go
fake
there.
crocodile
No,
tears.
yeah, don't go
Family.
there.
Them fake crocodile. You know, where the tears
Family,
at?
I need you to bring it down. I know this is an emotional time. I know it. I'd like for you, Mr. Harvey, to testify as to why you are so certain that Parrish Jr. is in fact your son's son.
He was proud of his son. He told me that was his son. The boy got a little bit of me in him. He looks like me sometimes.
Your Honor, we just want to make sure that little Parrish is Parrish's.
And to be clear, your doubt is rooted in him possibly being sterile
And then it's just he just looks nothing like him. Like
and the lack of
I used
family
to joke-
resemblance.
Yeah, and I always used to joke with Parrish, like, no, he's too cute to be your baby. Like, me and him always joked around like that.
You know, I still love my son, even though he's not here. I love him to death. We shouldn't even been here. That's his son.
He would not have wanted this. That's why she never said nothing while he was alive, because he told everyone this is his son. If it wasn't for him, my son would not have been named Parrish. He was adamant about him being named Parrish Jr.
He should be. He's
So
thinking
if
it's his
he
firstborn.
did
He
deny
should have
him,
been.
there's no reason for you guys to. You guys
Yes.
have no legitimate reason to
Yes,
say this is
of
not your
course.
son.
Yes, it is.
And then it just goes to, like, you low-key manipulated him with the baby. And then it goes to
He's
that.
a grown man. There's no way I could
You did.
manipulate
You
someone.
did.
Okay.
You did.
The only way to move forward, I think, is to get the results. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? Before I read the result, I just want to be clear that in order to determine if Parrish Brooks Jr. is the child of Parrish Brooks Sr., the deceased, we performed a grandparentage DNA test. We fortunately had Claiborne Harvey's DNA. The results will determine if there is a viable relationship between the child, Parrish Brooks Jr., and the grandfather, Claiborne Harvey. Are we clear about that?
Yes.
Okay. In the case of Brugger versus Warner, when it comes to 1-year-old Parrish Brooks Jr., it has been determined by this court, Mr. Harvey is related to Parrish Brooks Jr., therefore Parrish Brooks Sr. is also related to Parrish Brooks Jr.
Okay, I owe you an apology.
Something we already knew.
I owe you an apology.
Something we already knew.
Well,
my grandma
now I'm
didn't know.
sure.
Okay.
You had no reason to be unsure.
I'm sure.
And so for this child's sake, let's start new. The truth is always a great starting point.
Yes, Your Honor.
And even though you knew it, Miss Brugger, and even though you felt like you knew it, Mr. Harvey, without a doubt,
I knew
the
it.
point is they didn't have that clarity.
No.
And you can blame them for it for the rest of the child's life and affect the child's life, or you can forgive them and move on from it so that you all can positively affect the child's life. Do you get it? Mr. Hunt, you have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove that you are not the father of Miss Tinsley's 3-year-old daughter, Josiah.
Yes, Sean.
You say that she is a gold digger and that your relationship with her was
gold digger.
No, I'm
brief
not. No, I'm
and
gold digger.
purely
No, I'm not.
sexual. Furthermore, you claim that the defendant has defamed your character and she is claiming you are the father of her baby only because you are a successful rapper in your hometown.
Yes,
Not at all.
Yes,
not at
Shauna.
all. Not at all.
Now, Ms. Tinsley, you
Yes.
state that you could care less about Mr. Hunt's rap career
Yes,
or
ma'am.
his money, and your only concern is that your daughter grows up with a father.
Yes, ma'am.
You admit that you were confident another man was her father until a previous DNA test proved otherwise. But now there is no question in your mind that Mr. Hunt is your daughter's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
No.
All right, now, Mr. Hunt, why would Miss Tinsley claim you are her baby's father if you are so sure you're not?
Yana, I'm more in my city
He's
where
not
I'm
nothing.
from. I'm like the hottest rapper around. Not to be sounding cocky or
He's
toot my
aight.
own horn, but I'm on radios. I do shows for any major acts coming to the city. I'm doing
You
my
ain't making
thing.
no
She's
noise
a
like that,
groupie.
though. No, I'm
She's a
not.
groupie.
Far from a groupie. Never
She's
been a groupie.
got nothing going for
Never been a
herself. She's
groupie.
dead broke. She's
Bro,
nobody.
gotta keep a job.
She's coming at me for looking at dollar signs. She see dollar signs.
He's
basically.
dead broke.
She see
All
dollar
right,
signs.
wait a minute now. Obviously, you all met and liked each other at least for one night. So let's
No.
hear about that.
No.
Let's hear about that. How did you all meet?
On MySpace a long time ago, a while ago. And then we originally met in person like in 08.
No, Yana, that's not how it happened. I found
Yes, it
out
did.
about this on. I met her, a few years back, but I only hooked up with her one time.
That's a lie.
One-
we had sex
only
several
one time.
times.
One time.
We had sex several times, actually, Your Honor.
With several other guys. What about them?
I'm single. I don't got no man. I ain't married.
Now, this was just a one-night stand
She's
kind
a
of
jump
thing?
off, Yana. She's a groupie. That's what
I'm
she
a jump
do.
off. I'm a groupie, though. I'm a groupie all of a sudden.
I found out about this chick when she came to me about the baby. I found out about it on Facebook over my mother's
That's
house.
a lie, y'all.
I was on the internet. I was scrolling down the news feed. I seen it on the internet that she put my picture. She took my picture.
After he put
Put it next
statuses
to
about
her
me on his
daughter
Facebook
and put
page.
"You are the father." This was on the internet, Yana.
So wait a minute. So you two are
I
not.
sure
Now,
did.
this is 3 years later too. Now let me get this right.
Okay,
Yana.
so what?
I've been incarcerated and everything. This is 3 years later now.
Because I thought another man was her dad. And I tested him, and
you
it came back
thought.
negative. Okay, and you the next possibility, because I was messing with you around the time I got pregnant.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
No, this is
Yes.
wrong.
Let's recap this. You claim you had a one-night stand with Miss Tinsley.
Yes.
Miss Tinsley, you contend you had sex more than one time.
Yes, ma'am, we sure did.
It
At
was a
least
sexual
no more than
relationship that was
5.
ongoing?
No, it was like over
kind of drugs are
a
you
couple
on?
of months period.
I mean, she's
Like
on
a
drugs.
couple months. But what you also admit to is that you were having sex with someone else during that very
ma'am,
same
'cause
time.
I was single and I was kind of doing me. But
She
if I was
inboxed
so much
my
of a
mom,
slut,
y'all.
I would have 5, 6, 7 kids by 7 different men. I got 2 children by 2 different men. So miss me with what you're talking
I'm
about.
not one of the men.
Miss Tinsley, you tested one man
Yes, ma'am.
that you thought
My
was your child's
ex-boyfriend.
father.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that was your boyfriend at the time.
No, not at the time. It was just my ex-boyfriend. We were still kind of messing around.
All right, so it's the go back to the ex kind of thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he turned out not to be the father.
Yes, ma'am. And then prior to him, before he even, the blood test came back, I told you, Marcus, I said, Jamarcus, if the blood test come back negative with my ex-boyfriend, you the next possibility. Cool, everything's cool. Then people start finding out what was going on. Then that's when he thought he's a big rapper, which he ain't making no noise. You local, you're not even on.
Lies.
I'm in Atlanta with it. You still in Louisville with it.
Miss
You
Tinsley,
local.
hold on one second. How did everybody start finding out about it?
I ain't gonna lie, I went parading around the whole city, but I told a few of my friends I sure did that I
Yana,
could keep
she
it
waited
real with.
3 years, Yana. I went to jail
Okay.
for 2 years. She waited 3 years. She waited till after I had a buzz in my city. I'm on the radio. I'm opening for major acts. And then she came to me with this baby.
I cannot
talking
believe
about
this
she tried to put a
man.
baby on me after she seen that I'm doing things, that I'm moving places, I'm going
This is
around.
what fame does
This
to
is-
people.
this is
It
what-
changes people.
this is
So
what it-
let me ask you this
Why would you come to me 3 years later then?
He's saying
Because
it was,
I thought my ex-boyfriend was a daddy.
Why would you wait
And
3 years after
so
you see that I'm doing
because-
things, though? Why didn't you write me when I was in jail, visit me, and
I did
come
write
to
you.
the jail?
Put it on God.
Man, you can't.
That I didn't
Where's
write
your
you
letters
when he was
at?
in jail. I should have brung him. I didn't
Where's your
bring him.
letters
I
at?
wrote him when he was in jail.
Come on,
I wrote him a
I
few
never
times
got
when he
any
was in
letters
jail.
or anything, y'all.
Why? Don't lie.
wait a minute. You said your ex-boyfriend is the person you thought was the father. When did you get the DNA test from him? How soon after
It was
the
a
baby
couple of years later when we got into it. He demanded a test, so I got it. And then it came back negative. But he still loved my daughter. He was still helping my daughter. Still to this day, I can call him. He'll send me some money, Western Union, if I need it.
So, but now, Mr. Hunt, clearly you understand the answer now as to why she was a tad bit
Yana,
tardy
she's a groupie,
on the
Yana.
request.
I'm not a groupie.
Yana, she's showing up at, I told you I opened for major acts. She's showing up at the club with this baby on her arm, Yana.
That's a lie.
She's showing up at the club with this baby on her arm, Yana. I've never seen this in my life, Yana.
Okay.
She's showing up at the studio.
Hold on, let's get some order. I want to hear this from Mr. Hunt.
He's
Mr. Hunt,
lying.
she came to the club with the baby?
Yana, I kid you not. She came to the club with the baby on her arm yelling, "You are the father. This is your baby. Why aren't you taking care of your baby? You're a deadbeat dad."
I cannot believe what I'm hearing.
So that didn't happen. Miss Tinsley, you never.
I
Showing
never
up to the-
had my baby
Yana,
at the
not
club.
only the club though, Yana. She's coming to the studio. I'm leaving out the studio with me and my friends, my partners. We leaving out. She's showing up at the studio with this baby.
He agreed to
Yana.
do the blood test. Why you agreed to do it before then? What made you change your mind, Marcus?
So, Miss Tinsley, you're saying that there was a time when he agreed flat out, I'll take the blood
Real?
test.
Yeah, he agreed to it. And they was gonna cut off my welfare check if I didn't get nobody tested.
So wait, let me understand. Was this about the welfare check?
No,
or the
ma'am.
welfare of your child? Were you coming after him and trying to figure out who your child's father was because the court demanded you do it? Or was it because you truly wanted to
I
know?
really want to know. Both kind of, to be honest with you.
She inboxed my mom, Yana.
Yes, I sure did, because I want her to know what was going on. Because he sure wasn't going to tell her.
You inboxed her where?
On Facebook.
I need to hear from Ms. Moore. Ms. Moore, please stand. Please
Yes, ma'am.
tell the court.
Your Honor, I received an inbox in my Facebook from a person that I had no idea who they were. And what that message said to me is, my name is Jamie. No, you don't know me. but I used to mess around with your son, and you are the potential grandmother of my daughter. I'm blown away at this point. So my response to that was, let me talk to my son first, but I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because I'm a woman before I'm anything else. And I've been a woman far longer than I've been a mother.
Okay.
I know what it is to have to raise a child with a father being absent. And the catch-22 to all of this madness is, I'm not raising mama's boys, I'm raising men.
Okay.
And if he is the father, then he's gonna step up and do what needs to be done.
Okay, but I'm not saying...
The fact, I'm gonna give you facts.
That's what I want to hear.
The fact of the matter is, I've already drawn my conclusion about this young lady when she inboxed me. And after she told me that somebody else had been tested, and here you are coming at me 3 years later, my first impression was she's a hoe.
Let's use proper language in the court, okay?
Okay. But I've been single many times, Your Honor, but I didn't sleep with multiple men because I was single. And I'm not telling her how to handle her business. But if that's her choice, all I'm saying is strap up because you could come up with more than just a baby.
Okay, but I do wear
more than
condoms.
just a baby.
I got 2
We're
kids.
testing for DNA, but we might need to test for STDs.
I don't got no STDs. Why you coming over here doing all of that? I don't got no STDs, so I don't care what
you don't know who your baby's father is.
Okay.
I don't know what you have.
Okay, and I'm honest to find out. I need to know what's going on.
Let's get some order in the court. Ms. Tinsley, I will say that Ms. Moore waited patiently while you gave your account. I've asked her to give hers. I need you to let her speak.
Thank you.
Please.
Here's my thing. In order to deal with that baby, I've got to deal with this mother. And the things that I've seen on Facebook, because I don't know her personally, there's always an argument with other women.
Groupie.
Stay out
Because
of my
I got
business.
haters.
Why is everybody hating on me? Why is everybody worried about my baby daddy? You know, and I'm looking, thinking, who does this? What makes you a mother is setting the
why
prime
do you
example.
think she is saying your son could perhaps be the father?
Like I said initially, Your
He's a
Honor,
rapper.
I'm a woman before I'm anything, and I know that we can be some of the most scandalous creatures on the planet. I wasn't always 50. I've been 20, and I know when you see dollar signs and you struggling,
He don't
you
even
do
got
whatever
no
you got to do.
money, though,
You
like
don't
that.
know what he has.
He ain't making no noise. He ain't got no record
But
deal. He ain't doing nothing, Miss
okay, Your
Tinsley.
Honor, she says he's not doing anything. He's doing major things. And
He ain't
clearly,
doing no more than
she
what I'm
must have
doing.
gotten a buzz that he's about to get that deal. Because why are you showing up 3 years later?
Listen, I don't know nothing about no record deal. He ain't signed no check yet. I ain't heard no none of that until I see it. As far as 3 years later, because it took me that long to find out that the potential father that I thought was not. That's what made me come out to Jamarcus, because I was messing with him around the time, and my daughter does look like this man.
Yana,
It's
this does
not,
not look like
about
me,
his
Yana.
money. I have never asked Jamarcus
Does not
for
look like
a
me,
dime
Yana.
on my daughter. I have never
Does not
asked
look
this
like
man
me,
for
Yana.
nothing.
I'm trying to understand, as a mom that loves her child, why do you make that move? Why do you post her picture alongside this man's picture without confirmation that he's the father? Why post that on your
Why?
page?
The only
Because
reason
it's
why- Why would
not
you do
just
that?
making your child the subject of speculation, but also your credibility, because truthfully, what mother does that with their child's picture?
Hold on, don't try to make me seem like I'm a bad guy. I'm a good mother. I take care of my kids. I don't care what he's talking about. I'm a good mother, and I'm not gonna have you, him, or his mama tell me anything different.
Let's get one thing straight. I'm not here to judge you as a person. There's not a person in this room, including me, that has not made a mistake, a bad decision, done the wrong thing, or hurt somebody.
Amen.
What I am here to judge, in order to get to the truth, Miss Tinsley, are your actions, because the actions are the evidence. When you post a picture of a man that you think might be your child's father alongside your child's picture, you're not just putting that father at risk or exposing his personal business, you're exposing your child's. That's my point. And that's what I am questioning in this moment and asking you, why is it you made that choice?
It was just get back at him for putting what he put on his page. He
Another
put
thing,
it on his page
another
first.
thing I need you to understand, along with everyone else, is all this Facebook posting and texting all your business out in the air. You cannot get mad if later you are judged on those actions when you put them out in the universe for everyone to see.
I know.
No one would know your business unless it was out there. And so it's not just the fact that you posted it. I'm trying to get behind the reasoning. Now, the truth that I will take is you said I to get back at him. But what I'm saying to you is let's keep it really real. You didn't have to go that route for your child's
After
sake.
1,000
That's the
comments.
point. I know you're defensive because this is difficult for you, and that's why we're about to get to the results for everyone involved, because I know that this is a very difficult thing. But I wouldn't be the woman that I am if I didn't tell you that. Jerome, the results, please. Jamie, what's the matter? Talk to me.
I don't want nothing from him, dog. For real, like real talk, man. I never asked him for nothing. He's calling me a groupie. I never even stalked him. I did none of that. I'm a groupie now because he wow. That's messed up, dog. Because we was cool before all of this happened.
Listen, you love your children, and you love this child regardless. Am I correct? No. Mr. Hunt, let me speak. Look at me. That child is counting on you to be strong and pull it together. You made a mistake. So did everybody else in here before. It's not how you fall down, it's how you get back up again. Now, I want you to get back up, not be so worried about getting back at. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
So I know you say you've never asked Mr. Hunt for anything. It upsets you that he's calling you these names. But ultimately, just tell the court, what is it that you want from this? You just want your child to know who their father is.
Yes, ma'am. I don't want nothing from him. My mama left me in the hospital when I was born. I actually didn't even grow up with my mama. I grew up in foster care. So for me to have a daughter and then she don't know who her daddy is, it's like pitiful. I need to figure out what's going on, man.
Mr. Hunt, what would you like to know in terms of if the child is yours?
If she's mine, I'm gonna take care of my daughter.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
If she's not mine, I would appreciate an apology or something to leave me alone.
I do owe you an apology if she ain't yours.
All right, I think it's time for the results. Our results today were prepared by DNA Diagnostics. And per the report, in the case of Hunt versus Tinsley, in the case of Hunt versus Tinsley, when it comes to 3-year-old Josiah, Mr. Hunt, you are not her father.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Good luck to you, Jamie, in finding your daughter's father.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
Ms. Tinsley, are you
You're not
okay?
the father.
You okay?
I'm still gonna do good. I'll take good care of my daughter. She'll be straight regardless. I'm her daddy.
This may be embarrassing. This may not be the way you wanted this to turn out, but I don't want you to be deterred from finding out who your daughter's father is. But I want you to go about it in a more respectful way and keep things private until you know the results.
Yes,
you understand? Don't let the anger or the shame or the resentment of any guy stop you from finding out who her father is, because she deserves that. Are we clear?
Yes,
I wish you the best of luck. I know you're gonna do good things. I see it in your eyes. I know we had a little moment today. You okay?
Hold your head up. We've all made some bad choices.
See? Now that's another woman in the room encouraging you. It's
Keep
okay.
your head up. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep it moving.
And on that note, court is adjourned. Amen to that.